Hello, loves. Welcome to the Declutterist channel where we are decluttering what's in your way. And mindset is a really big one. It's either helping you or it's hurting you, especially in business. I'm Yvette, and I'm talking today about something incredibly close to my heart, and it's this: moms who do both run a household and a business. This video is for you, the mom who's giving it her all to build something from nothing so that she can provide for her children. And even if you're just thinking about starting a business, there's this intensity, like a mixture of fear and excitement and drive, and a lot of how the hell am I going to do all this? And here's what I believe: becoming an entrepreneur as a mom is one of the most challenging yet rewarding things you will ever do in this lifetime. It can feel daunting, though, I admit. But to do it without burnout, without fear, without doubt, without all those other crippling hurdles in your way requires not only a shift in your physical space, but a few crucial shifts in your mental space. Because take it from me, you cannot approach business with the same mindset you had before kids or the same mindset you'd have if you were just focusing on business alone. You're also a parent bringing up an impressionable human being. Everything is different for a mom. The stakes are higher, the mental load is heavier, and your time has to be structured in an entirely new way. So, together, let's walk through the essential mental shifts you need to make to truly own and accept your role as founder of a business that makes money and honors your priorities as a mom. Because I don't know about you, but my most important role in this life is mom. I remember hearing Meghan Markle say that on Oprah before I even had kids, but now I know it firsthand to be true. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to think like a professional, not a hobbyist, why your daily focus should be smaller and more contained so that you can get more done in less time, how to balance parenting with other adulting responsibilities, the sabotaging nature of self doubt on your unique journey, why you need to step in the CEO seat on day one, how to charge what you're worth, why minimalism will save your sanity, how to carve out your perfect niche in the marketplace, and why starting slow is actually a secret superpower. Let me just get this out of the way. Balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship isn't about juggling it all perfectly. It's about making intentional, prioritized choices about what deserves your limited time and energy. So grab your coffee and your water, find a quiet spot if that's even possible, and let's transform how you think about business. Mental shift number one: getting into the mindset of a professional. Mindset shift number one: become a pro at what you do. Move from thinking of your business as a side hustle or a little project or a hobby to start seeing yourself as a true professional. Because one, how you see yourself is how others will see you. And two, when you become a mom, you start to notice this social pressure to downplay your professional ambitions, not only from others when they say, oh, you're working on this little project while the kids nap. How cute. But also from within, your own self talk. You're conditioned to put so much of you on the back burner because you think you have to. But that kind of dialogue, inside or out, belittles what you're trying to create and makes you start to believe it, almost like it's taboo to pursue your purpose beyond the home. And if you're like me, you're obsessed with your kids. They're on your mind 24/7. They take over your whole life. They come first in everything. It's hard to have a thought that doesn't involve them. And that's okay. And yet, we can still become professional in our work. We can do both. Here's your permission slip, not that you need one. Your business, one that fulfills your creative aspirations and nourishes your soul, deserves to be given a prominent position in your life, especially by you. First, by you. There's a spiritual aspect to creating something that only you can build with all your unique passions and skills and talents and gifts. But that doesn't mean you have to work 60 hours a week or sacrifice time with your kids. It means approaching your work hours, however few or many those might be, with structure and discipline and consistency. So here's what that looks like in practice. First, create clear boundaries around your work time. In order to do business in the time you have to give it, then when you are working, not doing laundry, not scrolling on social media, not responding to non-urgent texts from family and friends. Your business deserves your undivided attention in the time you have to give it. So Call out your support system, let them know that you're working on this in these hours, and the only thing that gets past do not disturb is an emergency from school. Second, invest in yourself and your business like a professional would. This might mean hiring childcare for certain hours or preparing a space in your home, even the corner of your bedroom, to do deep, uninterrupted work, or investing in tech and tools and education or a coach that's going to help you grow. And third, talk about your business like it matters, because it does. And when I was first starting out, it took me forever to like get that concept. So when somebody asks you what you do, it's not just, oh, I have a little business on the side. Instead, say, I'm the founder of Declutterist and I help people all over the world declutter their lies, the lack, the limiting beliefs that they tell themselves that get in the way of them being free from the inside out. So you're the founder of X and you help this type of person achieve this outcome. When I first started my business as a mom, I felt apologetic about having something else to do other than just feed and watch over this baby 24/7. That's where mom guilt comes into play. So I would steal away in these moments and try to get some work done, trying to do business like I did before, thinking I had the same capacity, and I didn't. And so when I realized that my bandwidth was different and the structure of my day had to be different, everything changed. Even the requests I made of my husband in how to help me was different. It wasn't until I started treating my time working as sacred as being with my family, that things really began to change and become not a burden on my household, but a blessing on my household. So remember, being professional doesn't mean being less present as a mom. It actually means being fully present in whatever role you're walking into at that moment in time and building in the safeguards to protect that designated time. I talk more about this in a different video. Mental shift number 2, focus on the next 3 months, not 3 years. The second mental shift is, and this is a crucial one, understanding your objective, your motive, your role for the next 3 months, not the next 3 years. So you've got a vision, a big, grand vision, I'm sure. But what do you want to do within the next 3 months on the way to that vision? Break it down that granularly so that you can get really minute with the details. Like, this is the step I'm going to take over the next 3 months. It's really going to propel me forward toward my vision. This is where a lot of new entrepreneur moms get stuck. We're so good at anticipating the next thing for our kids, right? Being prepared for what's coming next or having all the things that we need just in case. And we can admit that that takes our attention off the now. It's probably something that really frustrates you with your husband. It's like he'll walk out the door and forget the diaper bag, but he's very much in the now, right? He's very much in, I'm just heading to the store, I'm going to the park, just what I'm going to do right now. And so we can kind of take a cue from that, because anticipating and everything and being prepared for everything not only adds to the crushing mental load like no other, it's also just a survivalist mechanism and serves only to protect these flesh and bones. And by now, you know, as a mom, life is more than that, right? It's also the protection of mental and emotional wellness, and that you only get now. So there's a balance, right? And so we can help ourselves in this regard by taking smaller chunks out of life. And that's what I do. I kind of look at the big picture. I've got laid out before me my whole year's goal, and I break it down by quarter, month, week, and day. In finance and in the corporate world, things are broken up into quarters, and that's for a lot of reasons. One, seasonality. Two, just a typical customer turnaround, right? Conversion time frame. And a lot of it boils down to what the marketing spend looks like. And yeah, I come from the corporate world long ago, so I guess that's where I get it. But doing my business this way helps me stay clear-headed, focused, seasoned, streamlined, nothing else to deter or overwhelm me. That's what looking too far ahead amounts to. We hear so much about 5-year plans and 10-year plans, and I get caught up in it myself, that we become paralyzed trying to map out our whole business journey from start to finish. And yeah, there is that vision there, right? There is that vision, but reverse engineer to get to the smallest, most immediate, urgent thing to get done right now to get to that goal. And that's where our focus is, because we might see that an opportunity today really presents itself to steer things forward faster than we could have ever imagined. Don't think that the universe isn't backing you, because it is. And once you make a decision and you stay clear minded and focused on that, you will have all the momentum at your back. And motherhood teaches us plans change. It teaches us to be flexible and go with the flow because no baby is going to feed and sleep on cue unless you're imposing some type of schedule. Toddlers don't care about your important calls. They're not going to shut up for you. Life just has a way of throwing in the curveballs just when you think you've got it figured out. So go with the flow. Because why would your business be any different than motherhood? Instead of trying to predict where you're going to be in 3 years, focus on the next 3 months. This shorter time frame allows you to be more adaptive to your family's changing needs and milestones, pivot quickly if something isn't working, celebrate wins more frequently, and make measurable progress without feeling overwhelmed. So here's how to create a more digestible focus. First, ask yourself, what's the most meaningful thing I can accomplish in the next 90 days in my business? Maybe it's launching a product, getting your first 5 clients, creating a simple marketing funnel, start to finish. Whatever it is, make it specific and achievable within that time frame. So understand your bandwidth and the constraints you have at home and start putting systems in place to help you do this because they're going to help 100%. I sound like a broken record. And second, break that quarterly goal down into monthly, weekly, and daily goals. And at the start of every week, look at what's ahead that week. What needs to happen this week to move you toward that 90-day goal? And when you're starting out, pro tip here, focus on just one offer, right? The execution of one offer in the next 90 days. What does that look like? Third, be okay with adjusting as you go. So this goes back to our light, loose, lean mentality when approaching business as a mom. If your child gets sick for a week and you fall behind, nothing you can do about it, right? Don't scrap the whole plan, just adjust it accordingly and communicate with all those parties involved that are impacted by this delay. And hopefully you've got a great team behind you soon enough that will pick up the slack. This approach isn't about silencing your ambitions. Instead, it's about making them manageable inside this beautiful chaos that is motherhood. It's messy, so embrace the mess. Better yet, consider that it's not a mess at all. And here's the best part. Those 90-day accomplishments are going to stack up over time and compound, and your success is just going to grow. Opportunities are going to grow. Income is going to grow. All of that just from having your focus. I see it all the time. Moms who focus on 90-day goals and make consistent progress like that achieve much more and go further and withstand longer than any mom who gets stuck trying to plan years in advance with the system she doesn't have in place yet. Mental shift number 3, parenting alongside other responsibilities. Now let's talk about the third mental shift, developing the mindset of a parent who's also a business owner. You're not just a mom. Can we just be honest? This whole work-life balance thing is just a cruel joke by all the people who aren't moms and entrepreneurs. There's never going to be a 50-50 split between your responsibilities and your roles in life. In fact, balance has nothing to do with work and life. It actually has to do with doing and non-doing. It's a mind and body agreement. And that's a whole nother video I'll save for a later date. Instead, I want us as entrepreneur moms to adopt something called prioritized integration. This mindset acknowledges that you're not just juggling motherhood and business, you're also managing relationships and bills and taxes, household responsibilities, self-care, community commitments, and other obligations. You're not just a mom, and you're also not just an entrepreneur. Breathe that in. The key is not to compartmentalize your roles, but rather to see how they complement and inform each other, right? You get one thing from the other, and it benefits you in this way. Because ultimately, we just want to be better versions of ourselves in every way, in every area of our lives. So, for example, organization in your household can help you organize your office. The systems you use to keep your team and your organization running efficiently are the same things you can start to use in home. And so you get it. So, here are some ideas for how to adopt this mindset. First, look for transferable skills between different areas of your life, kind of like resume building. What are you learning as a parent that makes you a better entrepreneur, and vice versa? What business skills are actually making you parent more effectively? Second, and this is a big one, my personal favorite, create rituals to help you transition between roles. Maybe it's a quick breathing meditation or a stretch or zoning out for a good 15 minutes in a dark, quiet room before picking up the kids, or a mantra you repeat 3 times out loud that just kind of steadies your mind and gets you clear-headed on, okay, this is my focus for the next hour, being with my kids. Whatever gets you switching from mom mode to entrepreneur mode more seamlessly. And notice how I didn't suggest scroll social media. Third, involve your family in age-appropriate ways. Let your kids see you working sometimes. Let them know what you're working on and how long you'll be working on that for and what it means for them while you're working on that thing. They can be doing a quiet activity too that they call work. Like my sons and I have quiet activity time, and they'll be coloring, drawing, playing with Play-Doh while I'm on my laptop typing away. And as your kids become more mature, they understand more easily these rules and boundaries. And they start to just fall into it too. Oh, quiet activity time. And everyone calls out what they're going to do. And I set the timer and we just go. Trust me, your kids can do it too. Just give them a chance and let them step up in other ways too. Like my 4-year-old loves putting on his own clothes for school and putting on his shoes and socks. Does he get distracted along the way? Absolutely. Do I help get him to finish? Absolutely. But they have their things that they can do all by themselves, and they love to do all by themselves. He loves to make his bed by himself. I just watch and look on in awe and appreciation. So talk to your kids about what you do and why it matters, because that'll teach them to start to develop what matters to them. This not only helps them understand why mommy needs to work, but it also shows them what entrepreneurship looks like. Maybe they want to become an entrepreneur one day, and this is what it can look like for them. You're actually modeling something very powerful: focus, determination, discipline, problem solving, scheduling. And what you're modeling when you're working on something you've built isn't even all there is to it. The icing on the cake is when you walk away from your desk and close your laptop when you say you will. That is some powerful modeling. So maybe it starts out a little bit like it did for me, where my kids would pull up a stool and help me cook. As soon as they show any interest, take the time to help them learn to do it. Whatever they're shunned away from, they're going to have a hard time accepting as their responsibility later in life. And you're going to be pulling teeth trying to get them into the state of mind they were when they were like, "Can I help you cook, mommy?" So treasure that organic development of their interest in adulting. And then you don't have to force it. And think of it this way: if they help you tidy, then that's less work you have to do when you're done working on your business, and less distractions while you're working on your business, because no one can work in a pigsty. I don't care who you are. And I can't walk away from that one without touching on the fact that if you have less stuff, that also helps. Remember, it's not about keeping all parts of your life separate. You as a mom won't be able to ever do that. Everything you do seeps in and out of each other because you're a parent first, an entrepreneur second. The goal is to move between them with intention and recognize them all as part of your unique journey as an entrepreneur mom. Mental shift number 4: trust yourself. The fourth mental shift is probably the most urgent one. Develop the mindset of trusting yourself. If you're not new to my world, then you definitely heard me say self-doubt is the number one barrier to entry in business. What does doubt do to us as mothers? It causes guilt and worry and sleepless nights. We're bombarded with advice the moment we post our baby bump on social. Everyone has an opinion on how you should feed the baby, what they should wear, where they should go to school, how to discipline, how to potty train. As entrepreneurs, it's no different. The options, opinions, and shiny objects are endless. Gurus are everywhere telling you the way to build a business, please the algorithm, the only marketing strategy you need. And I found myself in this literal trap and mind F one too many times in my years as an entrepreneur. And it's tripped me up every time, cost me a lot of time and money. But listen, only you can create your dream business. Isn't that cool? You're the only person living your specific life with your specific kids, with your specific skills, and your specific circumstances. This means you are the ultimate authority on what will work specifically for you. Develop your self-trust by filtering advice through the lens of your reality, your truth, and your values. Make decisions based on your priorities, not external pressure. Learn from your mistakes without judging yourself like a mean girl in school. And recognize when something starts to feel off, even if it's working for everyone else. So strengthen this muscle of self-trust by documenting your wins, no matter how small. Keep a success list where you write down things that went well based on a decision you made, because this creates evidence for your brain that you do, in fact, make good decisions. Client testimonials, case studies, etc. The more of those you start to stack up, the more confidence you're going to get around your decision making. Second, practice not overthinking. Try not to delay small decisions and instead trust your gut and go. What's the worst that could happen if you send out the wrong email or make a typo on your reel? Does any of that matter in the big scheme of things? Is it enough to bottleneck your process and keep you stuck in not moving forward, not publishing, not posting? Fail faster so that you can succeed sooner. Third, when you feel overwhelmed by conflicting advice, pause and ask yourself, what feels right for me and my family right now? And then honor that inner wisdom. Again, trust your gut and go. Motherhood is a gift, and you've been given incredible intuition for the job. You know when something isn't right with your child well before anyone else does. That same intuition can guide you in business if you listen to it. Trust yourself. You got this. Mental shift number 5, the CEO mindset. So let's talk about our fifth mental shift, adopting the mindset of a CEO, not an employee. When you start a business, especially if you're coming from a traditional 9 to 5, it's second nature to do everything from an employee mindset because you haven't trained yourself otherwise. So you might find yourself waiting for approval or permission, or looking for someone else to tell you what to do next, or focusing solely on admin tasks as if the money's just going to appear in your bank account every 2 weeks, like clockwork, no matter what you really are doing on a day-to-day basis. You are not just a service provider or a content creator. You are the chief executive officer of your empire. Even if right now your company is just you working during nap time or in the school pickup line. The CEO mindset is you taking full ownership over every aspect of your business end to end. So here's what thinking like a CEO looks like. First, dedicate time regularly to work on your business, not just in your business. Even if it's 30 minutes a week, take time to reflect, gather data, research, plan, plot, put in place all the systems necessary for it to run like a well-oiled machine. And in that time, keep in mind the big vision. So ask yourself questions like, is this business focus sustainable for me in my lifestyle right now? What systems can make this more efficient? What can I hire out? What can I outsource? What can I automate? What's the best strategic move here? Give yourself permission to be that CEO making those kinds of decisions. Which leads to the second thing, make decisions decisively. Yes, CEOs network and they pitch new ideas and they gather data and resources and people and they weigh pros and cons and then they commit to a decision. They don't bounce between every shiny new object, get lost in every distraction. They're focused, driven on that quarterly goal. Third, develop the skill of delegation early on, even with a tiny budget. Maybe you can't hire a full team yet, but can you use technology to automate some of your tasks? Can you trade services with another entrepreneur mom? Can you hire a virtual assistant for a couple hours a month? Every hour you spend doing work someone else can do is an hour you're not spending on the work only you can do. Being the CEO also means taking responsibility for your continued growth and development. What new skills can you seek education on? What knowledge gaps can you fill? And how would that affect the bottom line? Remember, no one is coming to tell you what to do or how to grow your business. If you listen to all them, you wouldn't be growing your business, you'd be growing theirs. That's your job now, accepting your position as CEO. And when you accept that title, it feels incredibly empowering. So you might as well step into that CEO seat sooner than later. Mental shift number 6, charging what you're worth. This next mental shift focuses on charging what you're worth and valuing what you bring to the table. And if we're being honest, as women, especially as mothers, we're used to downplaying our value in order to be helpful and accommodating and not rock the boat. We've been conditioned to do so. As mothers, we put ourselves last. As entrepreneurs, we put ourselves last. And we see that conditioning show up in our businesses as charging too little for our products or services, offering way too many things for free and endless consultations, over delivering to the point of exhaustion, feeling guilty about raising your prices, and on and on. Your knowledge, skills, and expertise, and the transformation you provide have real value. And charging appropriately for that isn't selfish. It's necessary for building a sustainable business that allows you to serve more and more people while also supporting your family. It's a noble cause. So let's talk about developing this mindset. First, get crystal clear on the results you provide, either those you got for yourself or those you helped others with. What problem do you solve? How does your client or customer's life improve because of what you offer? Focus on intrinsic value, not just the hours you put in, because people don't just buy toys and things, they buy a transformation. Second, research what other people are charging in your industry, but don't let that be your only guide. It's just kind of like a starting point. Consider your unique approach, the results you help others achieve, and the experience you create. If you're carving out a niche all your own, you won't have an example of what to charge, but you can get an idea for what the marketplace has that looks like what you're selling and go from there. Third, and this is what CEOs do, understand what it takes to live the lifestyle you want to live. Not one that's barely scraping by, but one that has you thriving. What's an actual budget for that? Maybe there's actual and then there's thriving. Write both of those numbers down. Coming to terms with that discrepancy will help you elevate your offer. And a fourth pro tip on this one, practice saying your prices confidently. Oh, that hour of coaching will be $3,000. Literally stand in front of a mirror and practice saying it. My program is X amount. Without apologizing, justifying, or immediately offering a discount, just say it and wait. Look yourself in the eyes and smile. You're worth it. I've definitely sold myself short way too many times, and I look back on that girl and I'm just sad for her because it's what she felt she was worth at that time. And so there's a lot of underselling of value and time and know-how and education and cost of education, all that factors in too. But it's okay. It's nothing we can't bounce back from. And I have, and you can too. It's just some insight into our own self-worth conversation. Remember this, every time you undercharge, you're undervaluing yourself. And you're undervaluing the whole industry. And you're undervaluing every other entrepreneur or mom trying to charge appropriately too. And here's something else to consider. When clients pay premium prices, they're more invested in the process. They show up, they do the work, they get better results. When you charge what you're worth, you're actually serving your clients better. Your intellectual property, your unique method, your framework, your steps, your content, your ideas have value. Protect them, honor them, and charge accordingly for them. Mental shift number 7, minimalist mindset. Now for our 7th mindset shift, adopt a minimalist approach in your business. My personal favorite high performance shift here, and one I can attribute to bouncing back from postpartum depression, identity crisis, imposter syndrome, trying to get back on my entrepreneurial feet after having 2 boys in 2 years. In today's world of information overload, there is constant pressure to do all the things. Launch on every platform, test out every marketing strategy, sell multiple products and services, be available to your community 24/7, and still fit in self-care. Good luck. As an entrepreneur mom, you do not have that luxury. You've got to sort through the clutter because everything will pull at your bandwidth, leaving you capable of playtime and laundry and dishes and dinner or not. Trying to juggle all that is maddening, and I believe it's deep down why a lot of mothers are miserable. Something's got to give. If you're a mom of littles, most of your day will be spent with them, doing for them, not on your computer, not working from your car in the drop-off line, not on the benches watching their soccer games, not working at coffee shops on your free time. You're working on the kitchen counter. You're on the floor with them knuckles deep in sensory play. Or you're reading about this milestone and helping them progress intellectually. You're watching videos on how to be the best parent during this very impressionable, very important time in their upbringing. And you just want to be the number one advocate for their mental and physical health and not do anything that would deter or delay them in growing up to be the best version of themselves and living happily ever after. So you've got that and you've got this business. You've got that and you've got clients to attend to. You've got that and you've got administrative tasks to do, marketing to put out, products to create, services to fulfill. And that, my friend, is where a minimalist mindset comes in, which is all about eliminating the excess, the stuff of least importance. It's not about doing less because you're not capable of more. It's about doing less because you're strategic and you're conserving your energy for what matters. Here's how to embrace minimalism in business. First, identify the 20% of actions that net you 80% of the results or 80% of your income. Narrow in on that. I teach something called the 80-20 edit based on this Pareto principle, and it helps you discover the handful of high impact activities that drive most of your success, whatever your business is. Find the 20% and you will gain hours back to your day. For example, most of your client inquiries come from you speaking on podcasts. That's a high impact activity. Focus there instead of trying to be present on all 5 different social media platforms. Focus on the podcast for the next 3 months and then reassess. Second, simplify your offers. When starting out, Instead of 5 onboarding calls and 10 bonuses, 2 PDFs and checklists and templates, create one signature offer that you can happily deliver excellently and efficiently and eventually effortlessly based on one promised result. Master that customer journey before expanding. Third, and I alluded to this already, create systems and SOPs for everything you do repeatedly. Client onboarding, new hire training, templates for social media posts and email responses, FAQs. Anywhere you can create a repeatable process, do it. This frees up your schedule and your mental space because you can copy and paste and eventually outsource the whole thing. A minimalist mindset in business isn't about being lazy or unambitious. It's about being intentional with your limited resources and creating the conditions to do your best, deepest work and make the impact you desire while also being present and available for your family. Remember, quality over quantity always in everything. Mental shift number 8, niching down. Our 8th mental shift is part of the one before it, and it extends into narrowing your niche, your place in the market, your target audience, and the exact solution they seek. This will make your life so much easier because it narrows your messaging too. Minimalist mindset, ding. Probably the most common mistake entrepreneurs make, and I'm sure you'll agree, is trying to serve everyone. And it's an innocent endeavor, right? We want to help everyone, and we don't want to miss out on potential customers. But the opposite is actually true. When you try to speak to everyone, you end up resonating with no one. Yes, if we could save the world, we would. Not the goal in business. As a mom with limited time to market your beautiful business, let alone operate your beautiful business, you need to make every word, every post, every dollar spent count. The only way to do that is to get extremely specific about one, who exactly you serve, so your avatar, what specific problem you solve for them, and why you're uniquely positioned to help them. So let's break this mindset down. First, get crystal clear on your ideal client, not just demographic data like women aged 30 to 45, but psychographic, geographic, technographic, you get it. All those details too. What keeps them up at night? What do they spend money on and why? What have they tried before that didn't work? The more specific you can be to this one niche down avatar, the more your messaging will hit home. Second, focus on solving one primary problem for this person. Yes, I know you have many skills and you could help with so many of the issues they face, but what's the main pain point you want to address? Become known for solving that specific problem really, really well and be vocal about it. Third, connect your unique experience, including your motherhood journey, to why you're the right person to help. Your story and your perspective are powerful differentiators in a crowded market. Use that. So, for example, instead of being a career coach for women, you are a career coach for moms returning to corporate jobs after maternity leave who want to negotiate more flexible work arrangements without compromising their upward momentum. That level of specificity might seem limiting, but it's actually freeing. And it's actually where the money is. And even better, it makes marketing your business much easier and more straightforward. You know exactly who you're talking to and what they need to hear. And they know you're talking to them. And here's the beautiful thing, you can always expand later. Niching at the start is how you grow faster. Instead of being too broad, not reaching anyone, getting no clients because they're all confused as to what you do. And so you're spinning your wheels and hitting your head against a wall. If this is an issue for you, I'd love to know in the comments because simplifying doesn't come easy for a lot of us. And so if I can help, please let me know. I'll do a video. Mental shift number 9, starting small and imperfect. Number 9 on the list is about embracing starting slowly and launching your version 1.0. Moms especially battle with perfectionism. We want to be the perfect mom, have the perfect home, cook the perfect meal, and that perfectionism seeps into our business, keeping us stuck in overwhelm at just the planning and preparing stages and never really legitimately launching our business. Because perfectionism is procrastination. A perfectly planned business that never launches helps no one. Your imperfect offer that helps one person is 100 times better and more valuable than the perfect offer that exists only in your head. Seek to help just one person. That's the first goal. And so here's how to embrace the start small mindset. First, create what I call your MVP, your minimum viable product. The simplest version of your product or service that still delivers real value, and leave the fluff out. The stuff that is born from insecurity, thinking that, oh, nobody will buy if it doesn't have these things. Trust your gut here on what is the simplest version 1.0 that you can get away with launching and helping people, legitimately helping people. What's the least you can put into your offer that still gives the client the outcome they hired you for? Remember, you can add more features, more modules, more bonuses later once you've proven your model and grow your team. Second, welcome mistakes. When you start smaller, the mistakes are smaller, so it's easier to bounce back from. And maybe in your eyes, they're more acceptable to make. Make more mistakes. The sooner you do, the sooner you realize that mistakes are the stepping stone to success. No business has ever started without making a mistake. And here's the coolest thing, your kids will learn to make mistakes, that you welcome mistakes, that they're okay making mistakes, which allows them to be free to fully live and express themselves in this lifetime. When you don't make mistakes, it means you aren't trying, you aren't betting on yourself, and you probably aren't growing. Third, set a non-negotiable launch date and work backward. Having that deadline will force you to focus on what's truly essential, what matters most in this quarter, rather than getting lost in endless tweaking and editing and refining, and pushing the launch date further out, which happens to a lot of us. Make it a non-negotiable date and saying, I'm open for business. And if you're pivoting or restarting a dormant business, say, hey, this is the date I'm relaunching, re-debuting, and a grand reopening of my business. Come check out what's new. A client of mine launched and relaunched 3 times before she got it right. But when it worked, it really worked. Because in the launch we worked on, it was like, whoa, everybody was ready for it and waiting for it. She had put in the right components to give the people what they really wanted. And so, yes, that takes some reverse engineering and some data collecting and some surveying and all that stuff, get to know your audience. But all of that happens in that reverse engineer, that backward timeline as you start to build toward that date. Remember this, every successful big business you admire started small. They didn't have it all figured out. They knew what they wanted to do. They got it out there, started, learned, and improved based on real feedback from real customers. It's kind of like getting paid to grow. Pretty cool. Your business will evolve as you evolve. You're a work in progress too. Be present with all the steps along the way, not only looking to the final destination, which reminds you of the distance you still need to go. Start small. Mental shift number 10, community over competition. Our final mental shift is fostering community over competition. Rethink the marketplace as your oyster. Sky's the limit. A very powerful shift to make in your mindset is moving from seeing other business owners as your competitors and seeing them as potential partners or community members. And this is actually born of an abundance mindset that believes there's plenty to go around. There's enough for everyone. The right customers will find you. So why not collaborate along the way? This has to do with business and at home. When you're not competing with your partner over who does what and keeping score of who still needs to do that to make up for that, and just kind of tallying who's doing what around the house, who's doing what with the kids, and comparing and contrasting in that way. Instead, collaborate to be the best parent you can be, because you two don't both have the same strengths. You're complementing each other, and that's why you connect. That's why you came together, and that's where chemistry came from. The same goes for in business. You've got kinship and chemistry and connection with plenty of people out there. Use it to grow. This might feel counterintuitive at first and kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Again, conditioning. Traditional capitalism frames success as winner takes all, and you just do not want to be the loser. But that mindset is toxic for entrepreneur moms. Moms need to do business differently, and it needs to work within their wheelhouse, which is connection and camaraderie, because that's where we do our best work. Mothers need a village around them. Here's why community matters so much. Building a business while raising kids can be extremely isolating. And so where there's isolation, there's shame, guilt, and fear of rejection. Cultivating a network of other moms, especially entrepreneur moms who understand the challenges, is a kind of emotional support system that we need. Second, surprisingly, collaboration creates opportunities that competition never will. Instagram and podcasts have it right in the way that they make it easy and desirable to collaborate with other creators. Collaborations create referral networks, joint ventures, and bundled services, which actually can end up lightening your load. So don't operate in a silo. Third, being part of a community accelerates your learning curve and your growth. You might have noticed that If you're in any kind of Facebook group for moms, there's always somebody giving really great advice that makes you feel like, oh, I'm not alone in that feeling. And oh, that's what worked for you. Okay, let me try it with my kids and see how it works. And oh my gosh, it does. And that's just like, imagine if you didn't get that piece of advice. Imagine if you were just struggling on an island all by yourself. It doesn't have to be that way. We need to rebuild our villages. Instead of figuring everything out the long, tedious, costly, hard way, you can get real-time feedback while also growing your circle of influence in a community that you create. This is leverage. Some ideas to cultivate this community-centered mindset. One, reach out to somebody in your industry and invite them for a virtual coffee chat. Not to sell anything, just to connect and learn about their journey. Second, look for ways to genuinely support other businesses in your space. Share their content, recommend them to clients who aren't a good fit for you, celebrate their wins publicly, shout them out in a story, but don't do it just for the reciprocity, but that will come too. Do it because you genuinely want to see them succeed too. It's kind of like the good old times in business still ring true in making business grow. And then third, consider joining a mastermind community. This one's big because like in my mastermind for entrepreneur moms, you need a place where you're seen, heard, and valued. You need to feel like you belong as you carve out this path for yourself and pioneer this niche. Groups like this are crucial for me and my students because you hold each other accountable. You cheer each other on. You brainstorm ideas. You share challenges and wins. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir with this one, but entrepreneurship is lonely without people who get you. And 9 times out of 10, we're not getting that level of understanding or camaraderie from our partners, our siblings, or our kids. So remember this, there are plenty of clients, customers, virtual assistants, teammates, freelancers to help you succeed as much as there are for others to succeed, especially when you've niched down like we talked about. Your specific approach and personality will attract the right people who want to work with you. The most successful mompreneurs out there are not lone wolves. I know a lot of them personally, and I know this to be true. We run in packs, and we're deeply connected to supportive communities that lift us up when motherhood gets really challenging, business gets really challenging, and we celebrate each other when milestones are reached. It's a big party. And there you have it, the 10 mental shifts to take your role as founder seriously and more professionally, whether you're just starting your business journey or your motherhood journey. So let's recap all 10 mental shifts. Thinking like a professional, focusing on the next 3 months, not 3 years, integrating parenting with your other responsibilities, trusting your own wisdom and intuition and your instincts, trust your gut, trust yourself, embracing the CEO mindset, charging what you're truly worth, adopting a minimalist approach to business, narrowing in on your specific targeted niche, starting small and imperfect, and focus on community instead of competition. I want you to know something. The world needs what only you can create. It's waiting for you. It wants what you have to offer. Your unique combination of skills, talent, experiences, and perspective, including the wisdom you've gained through motherhood, makes you valuable in ways you probably haven't even realized yet. You don't have to choose between being a mother or an entrepreneur. You can do both. You don't have to choose between building a meaningful business and being a great present mother. You can do both, especially after you've made these mental shifts. If this video resonated at all, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and share it with another mom who might need to hear this message. If you haven't already commented, I'd love to hear from you on which mental shift really made an impact to you. And you're like, okay, I'm going to try this one. I'm going to focus on this one for the next 3 months. And if you need help implementing that one, I got you. Until next time, you're not just a mom. Peace.